Senate Republicans are going to new lengths to get some of the president's more controversial cabinet nominees confirmed. It's been a very busy and chaotic day up on Capitol Hill. Let's go to our congressional correspondent, Phil Mattingly. So, Phil, what's the latest?
Well, Wolf, whether it's dislike, bordering on disdain for the nominees themselves, or just outright frustration with everything they've seen from the Trump administration over the last 10 days, Democrats are doing everything in their power to throw roadblocks in the way in the U.S. Senate. And that has slowed things to a crawl.
They ought to be embarrassed. It's the most pathetic treatment I've seen in my 40 years in the United States Senate.
On Capitol Hill, descent into confirmation chaos. The first cracks in the Republican wall. Two GOP senators throwing a scare into Trump officials over the nomination of Betsy DeVos for Education Secretary, both opposing the pick.
I simply cannot support her confirmation.
All as Senate Republicans urgently changing committee rules to move forward two other crucial Trump cabinet nominees.
I intend to get the committee back to where it once was.
Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, circumventing a two-day boycott by Democrats frustrated by what they allege were flat-out lies from the nominees.
They met as a rump committee in violation of democratic principles in order to advance the interests of two ethically flawed nominees. I think that's very troubling.
Meanwhile, just 2 floors above in the same building, a second group of Democrats launching a second boycott.
I cannot participate in any way possible.
This time to slow EPA nominee Scott Pruitt. The moves underscoring the sharply negative turn. Democrats standing firm in recent days. The scope of the power Republicans now hold.
What are the ramifications in this chamber, in this body, if that anger sustains?
Well, we have got to deliver on our promises. The most consistent message that I'm conveying to President Trump, to the new administration, and to leaders in both houses of Congress is this election was a mandate for change. And now we've got to deliver.
Well, you need Democrats, presumably, on some issues
well, listen,
to move forward.
I hope Democrats are willing to work together, but we've actually got a lot of tools that enable a majority to act, even if the Democrats continue in extreme obstructions.
Democrats unable to block GOP nominees and increasingly frustrated by the administration, striking back with every procedural lever they can pull. And when those run out, lambasting the nominees on their way to approval.
Before this committee votes to advance this nomination, it's important that we know whether Senator Sessions is able or willing to separate fact from fiction and speak truth to power. I am not confident that he is, and I will be voting against him, and I want to thank the chairman for his indulgence.
Senate Republicans on a party line vote advancing the nomination of Jeff Sessions for Attorney General, and the full Senate confirming President Trump's top diplomat, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, underscoring a harsh reality for Democrats. If Republicans stay together, every single cabinet nominee will be confirmed.
What do you think this means kind of for the Senate going forward?
It takes more time and have to put more hours.
And Wolf, the Senate Republicans' ability to really stick together as a unified bloc was what made the kind of decision from 2 Republicans to go against Betsy DeVos's Education Secretary nomination so jarring, back to back on the Senate floor. But I'm told from Republican officials that they believe her nomination is still on the path to approval, but it's going to be about as close as you can get. Right now it looks like it's going to be a 50-50 tie, and what does that mean? Well, Republicans hold the White House, which means Vice President Mike Pence will be making his way to Capitol Hill to cast the deciding vote in Betsy DeVos's favor. Wolf?
Yep, the vice president is president of the U.S. Senate. Phil Mattingly reporting for us. Thanks very much.